Now we start in the United States, where the manhunt for the killer of Charlie Kirk continues after the conservative political activist and author was shot on stage during an event at Utah Valley University. Authorities say only one individual is believed to have fired the fatal shot from a rooftop during Kirk's event at Utah Valley. The shooting has been described as a targeted attack on the Turning Point USA founder. Two people who were temporarily detained in connection with the case have now been released, with officials confirming they have no current ties to the incident. The FBI and Utah Department of Public Safety continue their investigation. No arrests have been made so far, and authorities have warned the public to remain alert as the search continues. We have some further information from that developing story. The graphic video footage of the shooting has been circulating on social media, which shows Kirk collapsing in his chair after being hit in the neck and attendees fleeing in a panic. We are showing blurred video footage of that now, and videos have also emerged showing an individual running on a rooftop near the scene. Witnesses claim the person was dressed in all black, and authorities say Kirk was shot from around 200 yards, likely from a rooftop. Moreover, there is further footage coming and circulating social media, which shows a man celebrating immediately after Kirk was shot at the university yesterday. The video circulated on X shows the individual pointing towards the shooter's location and cheering uncontrollably as the attack unfolded. Authorities have not commented on the man's identity or on his involvement. Okay, we are now joined by David K. Johnson, an American author, professor of criminal justice, journalism and law and political science at Rochester Institute of Technology. That's in New York in the United States. Thank you very much, David, for joining us. Before we discuss the event itself, David, we've just referred to some footage on social media that has been circulating. Of course, this is a highly politicized event. How much is social media playing in this assassination, whatever one is going to call it? Is it adding fuel to the fire in America's already dire politically divided situation?
Absolutely. This is a very dark day because of the public response to this. A few months ago, we had the elected leader of the Democratic Party in one chamber of the Minnesota legislature assassinated along with her husband, and we had two other Democrats who were shot but not killed. Not one word from the White House, no voices of concern about this from people who are strong supporters of Donald Trump. But this is being promoted by advocates for Trumpism as a very horrible event. Well, it is a horrible event, without question. But the nature, the one-sided nature of the response to this kind of totally inappropriate political violence is a deep indicator of how much Trumpism and the rise of a brand of modern Christianity that wraps itself in a Bible but promotes policies that are totally contrary to the Bible is overtaking America. We literally have pastors in America who say their flocks have told them, we don't want to hear this turn the other cheek, be charitable to the other person, give to the poor. We want Donald Trump's philosophy. Hit him in the face, hit him again, hit him hard. And that's at the core of what's going on in this response to the awful assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Of course, awful. David, now let's go a bit further into the event. Of course, this happened in the state of Utah. What more can you tell us about the state of Utah and its gun laws, and why it might prove difficult for officers and people investigating this to find a perpetrator?
Well, I suspect law enforcement at the end of the day will find the shooter and they'll be brought to justice. But Utah is a very conservative state. It is no longer a majority Mormon or Latter-day Saint state. It's changed quite a bit in that regard. But you can't tie, I don't believe properly, geographic location to any ideology, because every community has people of a wide variety of views. What you can reasonably speculate about is, since Charlie Kirk said, well, having a few people killed every year is a price we have to pay for having the Second Amendment, that is the right to bear arms, that certainly, we will find out at the end of the day, motivated the shooter in some way, that the shooter felt they were giving Charlie Kirk his own medicine. And there are many people in the United States who justify these mass shootings of school children that happen again and again and again by saying, well, it's more important that we have a right to carry guns. And indeed, just 2 days ago, a court said that Florida's law that you cannot walk around with a gun on your hip or a rifle slung over your shoulder is unconstitutional, that everyone has a right to carry a loaded firearm anywhere they go under the Second Amendment. I think that's a bad misreading of the history of the Second Amendment, but it's an indication of where America is going, which is toward an armed society full of people who believe they have a right to carry loaded weapons and use them if they feel threatened.
Yes, and David, that leads me into my final question on this matter. What do you expect the response is going to be to this? Of course, this has been a hugely public case due to the notoriety of Kirk and his views. We've seen shootings that have happened in America before. But given the person who was killed here in such a public fashion, hundreds of people, and of course social media, those images have been spinning round that. Do you expect the government to act on this in a possible legal way whatsoever?
Yes, I think that you will see more removals of restrictions on guns, which the Constitution authorizes. It refers to well-regulated in the Second Amendment. I think you're going to see a further relaxation of those. I think you're going to see several more states pass laws that anyone can walk around carrying a gun. And the problem here is that while I find Charlie Kirk's views odious, he has every right to speak them, and I've always defended the right of people to do that. We're losing that in America. We're adopting a culture of, if you don't agree with me, we've got the right to kill you. And both left and right need to walk away from that and renounce that. And leaders, moral leaders like pastors, imams, rabbis, they need to be in the forefront of calling out this kind of immoral thinking that venerates guns over human lives.
David K. Johnson, do stay with us. We have a further development from the United States. The criminal trial